Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Picnic Table Chat Show. This is episode 7 of season 6. So, yeah, how is everyone doing? Give us a little message in the message section if you're here with us tonight. Just choosing a banner. Welcome, everyone, on all the different platforms, listening now, listening in the future. Thank you for joining us again. We are currently looking at the leaf cutters right now, and as you can see, I've given them a stick. They are using the stick as like a walkway between the tunnel thing and the plant, basically. I just made an easy way for them to carry the leaves out, that's all. And it looks quite cool to see them walking across the stick. They've been doing really well, eating lots of leaves, like loads of leaves, you can expect. I've decided to opt out of the gravel option in the pot now, and I've gone for a big sponge. They keep taking loads of gravel into the fungus chamber, which is fine because that's obviously what they want. But I don't really want loads of fungus stones in the fungus chamber. Not really, if I can avoid it. So I've taken the stones away. I'm just using the sponge now. Much like you'd see at like a flower shop, I suppose, where they just stick the flowers into the sponge or whatever. It works, whatever, it does the job. And they seem to be all right with it. It hasn't, they don't seem to be trying to bite at it or anything. I will say I managed to actually get a barrier on the pods, which works for the first time. What was it? Last night I managed to do this chamber, and on the other pod, I've managed to get. How you had it on mute? On this chamber, I've managed to get a barrier, and on the other chamber, I've managed to get like the other rubbish chamber. I've managed to get barriers on them now, so it's just so much easier not having ants just pouring out as every time I open it. Is like I don't normally worry too much about barriers because generally I can see ants come in or whatever. But these are 100% you need a barrier on all the time. I've learned from my mistake, and it's made my life a lot easier having that barrier on and able to reach my hand in. It is quite difficult getting when they have taken all the leaves off the stems. There's still ants on them, and there was still a lot of ants in the pot dealing with the gravel as well. So that was quite difficult to deal with. So like removing the leftovers was quite hard. So hopefully this will be a bit easier now with that sponge option instead of the stones, and there's nothing really so attractive once the leaves are gone. Now, one thing that I always thought about leaf cutters was they would get straight to cutting the leaves. Now, these are actually quite slow. As you can see, they come and walk on the leaves, they investigate the leaves, but they don't instantly start cutting. They have been cutting, and I'm sure they still are, and one will take off a leaf in a few minutes, but it's not like that rapid cutting that you kind of expect to see. Now that might come with more growth of the colony. They are still quite small. I mean, there's a lot of them and whatnot, but the fungus chamber is quite small. I know they're all kind of devoted to building that up at the minute, and the big barrier around the pot. If you've seen my latest video, Polyrhacus dives versus weaver ants, it's not a fighting video, don't worry. It's just like a little comparison. You can see the big wall of debris that they're building up around the fungus pot within the fungus chamber. And I'm guessing it's just changing the environment slightly more, where I cut a massive hole into it so that they can get in and out. They've blocked up that hole a bit more, making them feel safe and secure, and changing the humidity levels to their requirements, which is completely fine and like not an issue. But I'd rather not be using stones. So yeah, it's all going well. The fungus has now reached the top of that pot, but I'm sort of letting it spread out before I move to a bigger pot, and then I'll repeat the process until they're sort of big enough for the fungus to be the pod size rather than pot. I'll take the pot out. Good evening, creepy. Thanks for coming. And then it will just be the fungus chamber itself. But I won't be doing that until it's much larger. Just keeping it in a micro environment under these pots, so much better for the colony to maintain themselves in there. But like I say, they seem to be doing well. The high water requirements mean I have put in this water tower, and as you see, it has been going down and up and whatnot as I've been refilling it. They do drink out of it, is what I mean to say. They have a huge need for loads of water, which is fair enough. They need so much humidity. They use all the water for everything, you know. So yeah, lots and lots of water in for them. Apart from, oh, good evening, Dawn. Thanks for coming in. Apart from the leaf cutters, there's been lots of other goings on in that ant corner over the last few days. The dives have been non-stop expanding. Again, if you've seen my latest video, you would have seen the nest. It has got so big now. It is like probably about a half of the tank wide, and it's crazy how many ants there are. I put in 4 towers of sugar syrups today, and they've already emptied 2, maybe. Yeah, and they've emptied 2, and the other 2 are halfway empty as well, and they're having protein at the same time. They're absolutely smashing in food. So yeah, I'll be expanding them really soon. I keep saying about it, and I keep looking at it thinking I need to get around to that, but I've got so much on at the minute. I'm pulling like stupid hours behind the computer, but it's been well worth it over the last few weeks. We'll go into that a little bit more in a moment, I suppose. But apart from the usual colonies I talk about, I've got some new colonies because I am clearing out all of my stock, or as much of it as I can, before we get our new stock in after Christmas. So I've decided to keep a couple of the colonies for myself. So I have a couple more Lasius niger colonies. I have a Lasius emigratus colony. I've decided to keep a Mesa structa colony, Mesa minor. My last colony of Uber that haven't actually done very well, to be honest. I've decided to keep them myself and see if I can nurse them back to a good. What else did I decide to keep? That's Mesa barbarus up there. But all in all, I've decided to keep quite a few new ants. I went from having like 17 on the shelves behind me to like 20 something on the shelves behind me now. So I've got a few new colonies. Yeah, and then I rehoused a few of my other colonies as well. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I rehoused a few of my other colonies. My Mesa barbarus colony was not doing well in their Wakushi setup. So I've moved the whole nest into a large outworld. I've put in some test tubes, and I've taken the lid off the nest to see if they'll move back into the test tube. Basically, I think that nest size. It wasn't anything to do with the nest, don't get me wrong, but the nest size was just too big for the colony. They had a bit of a die off when they went in there, and then they just didn't have the numbers for it. And I can honestly say they haven't. They'll do better off in a test tube. Who else did I move? I moved my monomordium, and now in a much larger outworld because their small outworld was sort of completely overrun with them. Um, my Assistructor moved, sort of working on moving the Lasius niger colony, but I don't think they're ever going to move out of their own self-dug tunnels, you know. Surprisingly enough, I thought my acorn colony, my acorn ants, I wasn't sure if they were still going because they're so small and I don't ever actually spend the time to look in there and see if they're doing okay. They're actually fine. So good evening, Katrina. Thanks for coming in. So I looked in, and bear in mind, I got them as an experiment. I had Camponotus creataris, or however you pronounce it, and I had them living with the acorn ants, but they actually died out, and the acorn ants survived. The acorn ants, I say, doing really well. There's loads of them running about every time I feed in there. So I'm thinking I might actually change the experiment slightly because we know they're absolutely fine with Camponotus. So I might change it to a Formica species because I have 2 colonies of Formica rufibarbus that I've kept to myself and 1 colony of Formica fusca that I have myself. So I might end up putting one of the Formica rufibarbus colonies into the outworld with the acorns because I expect again there won't be any issue. I have found things like Lasius niger can get on with Camponotus as well, believe it or not. So that's something if someone wants to try that out. It's not always advisable. Oh yeah, monomordium are pretty much unnoticeable by the larger ants as well. But again, it's not something would highly advise trying, but there are some ant species that because of the size difference they can cohabit in that way, but again it's not something I would recommend trying unless you're willing to take that risk. Yeah, right. So I don't know what I do, Katrina, in that situation is just feed more. I always sort of overfeed in multi-species situations to stop any conflict, really. So I'm just finishing my cup of tea quick. It's somewhat cold, so I thought I'd finish it now. Oh dear. So yeah, as I said, I've been doing some really long days behind the computer lately, which isn't a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. Oh, it's got a late. That's very cool. Give it another 6 months, you have a nuptial flight. Hopefully. Then the problem with them being captive colony, you know. Yeah. So in these long hours, we have made Sheffield. The show in Sheffield is going to be absolutely spectacular. Obviously, I'm not releasing all details. Keep your eye on the events page, on the website, on the Facebook event. There are updates, and you got to keep your eyes open for them because I'm not doing big announcements about them. I'm just sort of slyly updating things as I go. And you can find quite an up-to-date of the vendors and experiences that are attending. Now, we do have quite a few already, and there are still more booking in. We've got loads of lectures. We've got, in fact, I did have it up, but I closed it just minutes before the stream actually to make it speed up the computer. Damn. We've got lectures on both stages. We've got workshops on one of the stages. We've got demonstrations. We've got all sorts going on throughout the day, which I cannot wait for. Quite a few exhibits as well. Planning on getting some more exhibits because I'm not happy with the amount yet. That is the thing that I think the show is going to be lacking on unless I put some more effort in. But again, we've got plenty of time and I'm well ahead of where I thought I'd be at this point. So I'm actually super happy about the show. They say loads of amazing traders come in, loads of great lecturers and workshop providers, we could call them. animal experiences, whatever you want to say. Yeah, I'm super excited about Sheffield. It's going to be interesting going up there as well. As I keep saying, I've never been to Sheffield, and it's a hell of a long way for us to go, but it's going to happen and it's going to be amazing. Bristol is going to be absolutely fantastic as well in August. I believe it's the 5th of August. We're going to be back at Fairfield High School. I believe it's also going to be the last time we're at Fairfield High School. We're going to be moving to a bigger venue in the year after, because we're already starting to outgrow that venue with the we're getting lots of traders applying to come to the shoot and so on and so forth. Loads of lecturers. The university wants to be involved again. So that show's sort of really growing. All in all, it's sort of growing, and we're going to be like by 2024, maybe 25, we're going to be a lot bigger and looking for much bigger venues than what we're already hosting in. So that's always a good thing. I saw some in the summer too. Well, please, I was always overfed that I suppose they've stolen from my TV news. I just last time. Oh yeah, the uni talk. Right. So this time we've got a few things of that level. We could say it's we say 2 stages, and they're both going to be absolutely packed all day long with different things happening on them. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Obviously, Katrina, I can. It is a long way. Katrina, I can give you a bit more of an update as you're part of the committee. And we do need to sort out the bus and things like that, logistic wise, and so on and so forth. We need to sort that out as a committee. But apart from that, yeah, it's all cracking along really well. The Weymouth show as well. The Weymouth show is starting to look really, really good. Obviously, completely different to the Great Ant exhibitions that we're holding. Not just an ant event, it's not just an invert event, it is an event to showcase the cool things that happen around the Jurassic Coast where I live. If you're from the south coast of England, you would know about the Jurassic Coast. We have so many fossils, they're basically falling out. I think that it's about to carry a massive leaf. I think so. Maybe we'll wait and see. But that'd be cool. Yeah, so I'm just reading your messages. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Like, they're all going to be fantastic. I think my wife is going to be with me for the shows as well. The kids are going to be holding a stall as well at the Weymouth. That's going to be interesting. There still will obviously be attached to my stall, and they'll just be doing a little part next to it or something going on, which is absolutely brilliant. And I like to sort of promote that idea, under supervision, of course. It is going to be fantastic meeting at long last. I mean, I think I've met most people in the chat right now, but not everyone. Definitely not everyone. It's always nice to meet new and old faces. In fact, Sheffield, I think we're going to meet so many new people. I don't know, I'm gonna forget everyone's name for a start, forget who's who, because I'm a nightmare with that. But yeah, so don't be offended if I don't know who you are as well, even after like the second or third time of you saying, because I will forget. I expect it's going to be quite a hectic day again. I don't know. Shows, I'm sure they'll become less hectic for me as we get like through more shows, if you know what I mean. The first show I was running about crazy, but it's one of them things. I think as they progress, there'll be less. I don't know. A man can dream. Yeah. Oh, so what else? So this week we went out to a local pet shop that has been taken over by new owners on the island. It is literally about 5 minutes away from me. It is a good pet shop. They're not going to be selling live animals anymore. It is now just down to the hardware and stuff like that. But speaking of hardware, you can actually buy your tools and stuff in the back, which is quite handy. there's quite a few bits and bobs like that which I acquire quite regularly for my bioactive builds and so on. So it's quite handy to be able to get it all in one place. I will be doing a proper video on that visit soon. I did take some footage, obviously. I always do anywhere animal related I go, and I think it is great to sort of promote these local places, especially in the run up to my show in the local area. It all kind of helps towards it. Trial on the red nectar, the scabs tank, love it. That's good. That's what I like to hear. See, the ant sugars, from what I've heard, they're amazing without like blowing our own horn, and it kind of is, but they are really good. We haven't had one bad word said about them from anyone, which is really cool. Excuse me, I think I might burp. There we go, that's better, pardon me. Yeah, not one bad word's been said about them. All ant colonies seem to be bang on them, which is always really, really good. And yeah, everything's really positive about them as well. I've got some new flavors coming out after Christmas as well. We will have some flavors coming out just in time for Valentine's Day and so on and so forth. Some really cool flavors, but we won't go into that. We'll just stick with the two that we've got at the moment. Excuse me for coughing. I need to apologize to everyone as well. All my dedicated viewers that would have turned up for Wednesday's stream. You're all more than welcome to give me just a very gentle slap when you see me at one of the shows. Very gentle, because if you all do it hard, I'll be hurting. But I missed out on Wednesday's stream, didn't I? And it wasn't even that I was ill. It wasn't on purpose at all. It was BLB need to feed more mims. Yeah. Hang on, like so. Yeah, I was sat here, I was working my butt off, sending hundreds of emails or doing whatever I was doing. And then my wife looked at me and was like, "You realise it's 9:15, you might be doing a chat show." I was like, "Oh my God." And by that time, it's too late to sort of set everything up, because it all takes a while to kind of get in place and set up and not. So yeah, that sucked. And I do really apologise to everyone. That was just me and my work. Completely lost track of time and the day and existence. I just I was just do a thing and completely lost track of it. I do apologize. I try not to make a habit of it, as you know. Any episodes that I do miss, though, I don't know if I've mentioned this lately, but I have mentioned it several times in the past. So we upload every one of as a podcast eventually. I think we've got the first 3, maybe 4 seasons on podcasts at the minute. That's on Anchor, on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. You can find them. I think it's definitely up to the end of the 3rd, might be up to the 4th season. Every episode that I have missed is being replaced by a bonus episode that you won't find on YouTube. You won't find it anywhere else. It is only on the podcasts. And these are interviews generally with people that I found really interested and to grab a live with, but not on stream. So I've recorded an interview and I've uploaded them to episodes. So you'd have to go through, I'm afraid, or remember what dates that I've missed, and go through and find them. But there is episodes there if you listen to them all or find the right ones. But yeah, they are there. And there's more bonus episodes to be uploaded, because obviously I missed another stream. I've missed a few that I need to upload. I know I've got a couple of bonus episodes. But anyways, that's the end of that story. You all know about that. And again, I do apologise. But so if you are in the local area, in the run Christmas, we are starting to wind down for Christmas. I can't remember. I haven't got the dates right in front of me right now, but we are stopping sending ants very soon, within the next couple of weeks. And then we'll still be selling dry goods, candies and that sort of stuff, and that will stop around the 15th of December, I think it was. And that just gives us a nice little break over Christmas period. I have worked non-stop this year, just taking a few weeks off. Well, I took a week off for a holiday, but apart from that, I've not taken much time off. Yeah, I've been pretty full on. So it's going to take a little bit of. I mean, the chat show is still going to happen, things like that, but the shop will be shut over Christmas. You're still able to place for after Christmas, but stock will disappear. There will be no ants on the website during this period. As I say, I'm going to be doing a full restock and reshuffle of the ants that are on there. There will be some new products as well coming onto the store, because we've been working on product development with several different people, several different companies, and we have quite a few new products that we have been developing for you in secret, as always. They'll be coming on after Christmas. Loads of stuff, actually. You might be like, oh, okay, wow, everything is going to be there. We'll see. So yeah, that's all happening after Christmas. So like I say, we're going to be shutting the shop, doing all of that. You might see a few more changes on the website. I have done a bit of an update on lately, just changed a bit of fonts and rewrote a few things and whatnot, but you will see a bit more changes over the Christmas period. I have currently 5 A4 lists of jobs to get through, and when they are all through, it will look a bit different. But we're getting there. These things take time. They do take a lot of time. Something I don't have enough of. And I've only got 2 hands. That's the problem. The slowest thing is the computer, because like attaching a document to an email can take like 5 to 10 seconds, and in that time I could be doing like 4 or 5 other clicks. You know what I mean? So it builds up. It builds up. The other night I sat here, I sent like 150 emails or something. It took me like 3 hours or something stupid. A long, long time. Longer than I'd like it to take. And they weren't like personalized emails. A lot of copy and pasting was involved. Oh dear. But yeah, so that's that. But yeah, so if anyone is in the local area, I went a bit off topic there. We are going to be on the 3rd of December. We are going to be at a Christmas fete. Obviously, we are going to be inside in the warm, doing a little workshop. It's completely free to come along and see us. No money required at all. You'll be able to see some of our colonies, some of our different inverts, some of the things that we've decided to bring along with us, and just see what we do at our workshops. It is very different from anything else I do. It is very different to these chat shows. It is quite educational, very fun, and you're going to get to hold some interesting insects. Invertebrates, we should say, because they're not all insects. Yeah, so it is there, like I say, 3rd of December. And that is our last workshop of the year as well. That side of things will be shutting down. Which is really nice, because we've taken lots of bookings for the workshops over this year. It's really started taking off, going to different schools and different youth clubs and different groups and things. It's been great fun. We do still have 2 more workshops this year before we call it quits. So that yeah. That will be the last one, and that's the last like big open one that you can just attend. We do like doing the big open ones as well as the what we could call community ones, the ones which are like youth clubs and things like that. But we do like doing the big open ones where anyone can just turn up and say hello, because I find those are absolutely awesome. You never know who's going to turn up. We've had quite a few of the like kids teachers come along with their families, and they're like, oh, come see the Ant-Man. And I have got quite a name as the Ant-Man of Portland now, which is, it's not a bad thing. But when I'm walking down the street and they're like, hey, it's the Ant-Man, it's a little bit like, I'm with my parents, guys, come on. But whatever, they know I'm an Ant-Man. Oh dear. So another big announcement. So what was it? On Halloween, we reached 666 subscribers on Halloween. Now, I think it was yesterday, 2 or 3 days ago. I can't remember. Again, all days are molding into one. We reached 700 subscribers. So it's going up quite fast, but still 700 subscribers. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the support, ongoing, and whatever, or ongoing support. That makes more sense, doesn't it? But yeah, how awesome is that? 700. We're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 mark, which is basically my main goal, to get to 1,000. And I don't know, we're going to do a big giveaway and whatnot, because I'm just going to be so happy when we get there. It's taken a long time. I'm not going to put in any less effort or anything. Don't worry about that. But it's always sort of been the goal to get to that 1,000 mark, hasn't it? Ever since we got to like the first probably 150, 250, and we actually started to think, hang on, we could do some YouTube in there. We've always sort of wanted to get to that 1,000 mark. So getting there, we are getting there. And it's going to be awesome. So I was just drinking my bad can of Relentless. You shouldn't drink Relentless. It's not good for you. But I drink Relentless. But yeah, it's not good for you. Oh dear. So what has anyone else been doing? We are heading towards the end of the stream. So if you've got any comments, if you want to talk to me about anything, any questions about the leaf cutters, anything at all, put it in the comment box below. Nowish. Let's talk a little bit more about Sheffield as well. If you aren't able to buy a ticket beforehand, just turn up on a day. There will be tickets available at the door. I will have a member of staff at the door selling tickets for the standard price, £5 for adults and £3 if you're under 13. You will get your wristband. Make sure you keep your wristband on. Even if you leave the event, otherwise you won't be allowed back into the event. That is crucial. We are not relying on a stamp system. We do have wristbands this time, and I say keep your wristband on, like, because there's loads of like Bears. There's loads of McDonald's and stuff like that is really close by to the venue in Sheffield. So you're more than welcome to like go off, the lectures, although there is a lecture on one of the stages at all times, and that sometimes there's a lecture on at both stages. There, if you want to run out and grab some food and come back, just make sure you keep your wristband on and you'll be allowed straight back in without having to pay again. Not an issue. Which again, I was actually really happy and excited when the wristbands turned up. I know that's kind of mundane, but at the last one, like, it's something I didn't even consider until the day of the event. I was like, oh no, we didn't get anything to sort of recognize people that have entered. And then about halfway through, we went out and got stamps, which was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But it was a lot to think about on that first show, and I did do it completely without the committee as well. The committee I find is really helpful because it gives me something to aim questions at, if you know what I mean, rather than just going, okay, I'm going to do the show exactly how I want to do it. It makes me kind of think, all right, what's going to work with everyone, and yeah, gives me to bounce ideas off as well. So it's really helpful having the committee together for this future show. But yeah, so if you want to come back in, let's say, keep your wristband on. There will be some kind of food or sweets or something available at the venue, but there won't be hot food at the venue. Not that we're providing anyways, strictly because it's just easier not to at this show. But there will be sweets and stuff, and a face painter. Don't forget to get your face painted. I don't want to be the only grown up with my face painted this time. Last time I was a dinosaur. This time I don't know what I'm going to be. I never know what I'm going to be, but I'm probably going to get my face painted again. I really enjoy it. Why not? It's not something I do often as an adult, but if I'm putting on these shows, I'm going to enjoy every minute of it and every stall, you know. I'm going to work my way around everything. Yeah, simple as that. Oh dear, oh dear. But yeah, right. So I think I am just about done. Let's say, if you are getting a ticket, they are available. I think even the Bristol ones come online. The Bristol tickets come online just after the Sheffield show. You can get tickets to the Sheffield and the Weymouth show currently. And let's say, if you don't get them online, they are available on the day on the door anyway, so it's not an issue. You will not miss out, and we probably very unlikely to sell out because we have literally like 1,000 tickets or something is the capacity for this show. Something crazy like that. We've got a huge amount of space. I won't go into details because I again, I'm not going to go into details just yet, but I'm a little bit of a madman, as we all know. So, yeah, we've got a ton of space, a ton of stuff going on in a ton of space. But yeah, so right, that is it for tonight. I hope you've all enjoyed this show. I've enjoyed chatting random stuff to you, as always. Don't forget to check out all my other videos that I've been releasing lately. That last one that I done yesterday, the Polyracus dies versus the leaf cutters, or whichever leaf cutters versus whatever. I really enjoyed making that video. Please do check it out and give it a little comment as well. It all helps the channel, as you know. But yeah, I'm going to say a massive thank you. In fact, I'm going to go around a little bit further this time. I'm going to say a massive thank you to all of the sponsors of everything that we do, because we don't just have sponsors of the chat show, we do have sponsors of our events as well. And I know they do overlap because the sponsors of the chat show is the same as the sponsors of the event, but that just means that they've sponsored me twice. They're very supportive. I wouldn't be able to do everything that we do without that extra bit of support. So a massive thank you to obviously Answer Us, because he is absolutely fantastic. Chris Newman, we all know Chris is fantastic. And if you were at the Bristol show and had the chance to meet him, you know he's an absolute genuine legend, quite frankly, and he loves the hobby. Yeah, there's not a bad thing I can really say about Chris or his store. So yeah, Answer Us. Massive thank you to Valhalla Martial Arts of Weymouth. They also sponsor the show and our Weymouth event. Again, they've supported me massively, not just through sponsorship, but they've just been really helpful. If I need anything, like, they're the ones I can shout to. If I need a lift or something and I'm stuck, then they're the ones I can shout. And if they can't do it, they can usually get one of their fighters to do it or something. They're just so helpful. I can't really fault Valhalla at all. They are having regular fight shows in Weymouth at the moment. So if you are in the local area, again, please do check out their shows. I'll even come along with you and we'll make a night of it, because they are absolutely awesome and it's a great night out, so why not? A massive thank you to Miles Dark Plastering and Building Services. Miles is a fairly new company, so a massive thank you to him for giving us the support at the Weymouth show. It's sort of a big thing for him because I say he is quite a small, he's a 1 or 2 man operation, but again, he is massively supportive of what we're trying to do and everything sort of we stand for. So a massive thank you to him. And finally, a massive thank you to Portland Carpet Fresh Upholstery. I always get that word wrong. Again, massively supportive from another small company, local, and really helpful, really kind, and great at what they do. So I know not many of my viewers are local, but if you are, make sure you check them out and just give them a little like on Facebook or whatever. Show that support, because they are showing us massive support and helping us put things together. But as always, a massive thank you to everyone, including all of my Patreon supporters. Kat and Stacey, you're both absolutely fantastic. And of course, all of you viewers, just for watching and giving us comments and the support that way. It all helps. Thank you and good night. No, not quite. Yeah, that is pretty much it. So as always from me, I'll see you again soon, and good night.